Well, you know, it's outrageous. I think President Biden said that, and Republicans and Democrats have rallied around this, the effort to fight this absurdity. I mean, this is a rogue prosecutor who's gone amok. He's out to demonize the one and only Jewish state and the only democracy in the Middle East. And it's both false and dangerous. False because, first of all, he's creating a false symmetry, as you said, between the democratically elected leaders of Israel and the terrorist tyrants of Hamas. And that's exactly like saying, well, I'm going to issue arrest warrants for President George W. Bush, but also bin Laden. Or in World War II, I'm going to issue arrest warrants for Churchill and FDR, but also for Hitler. Thanks a lot. It's a false symmetry. It's a despicable symmetry. And of course, this prosecutor never goes after the tyrants of Tehran or the butchers of Syria or what is happening in Yemen, the killers of Yemen or anywhere else, or North Korea, anywhere else. He's going after us because he's out to demonize Israel and really fan the flames of anti-Semitism. The second thing is the charges are false. He's accusing us of deliberate starvation. What a pack of lies. I mean, we put in 20,000 trucks, 500,000 tons of food and medicine. The price of food in Gaza has plummeted because markets don't lie. We've got people receive about 3,000 calories per day compared to the 2,000 that's required. It's a bunch of baloney. And yet, if you repeat a lie often enough, and if you have slanted UN organizations dominated by Hamas and its killers to give you these informations, it's completely false. So I think he didn't even bother to investigate. I don't know if you know that. He just received these false, contentious, and misleading charges and took them at face value and then slammed this on Israel. So it's false, but let me tell you why it's dangerous. Because, Sean, Israel is first, but America is next, and all democracies are next. Because if this is allowed to, if Israel is bullied into not stopping these terrorists and getting rid of these terrorists, then all democracies will be imperiled. And it's also dangerous because he's pouring gasoline on the fires of anti-Semitism that are raging on U.S. campuses and around the world, because people think this is a serious organization, the ICC. It'll take time for them to know what a farce it is. And so he's really stoking the fires of Jew hatred around the world, and it never stops with Jew hatred. It inflames entire societies. You see that on the campuses of the United States. Well, it's certainly going down that route, you know. People used to take the General Assembly of the UN seriously. Well, it passed more resolutions against Israel than all the other countries combined. The so-called Human Rights Council of the UN, also taken seriously, and then people saw that it passed more resolutions on Israel than all the rest of the world combined, including North Korea, Iran, Yemen, Syria, you name it. So obviously they lost all their legitimacy. And this rogue prosecutor with his false symmetries and his false charges is doing exactly the same to this ICC. And it remains to be seen whether the judges will go down that route too. They might, and then it'll become a kangaroo court for all the world to see. So I think that's if he wants to put a stain on Israel, he's putting a stain on himself. And I'm very glad now that in the U.S. Congress there's a very strong effort, which is bipartisan, and I hope it continues to conclusion, I'm sure it will, to put sanctions on anyone who does this in the ICC. I think it's the least that should be done, and I expect it to have a lasting effect. I think it's important. I'm very glad to see a lot of countries, a lot of serious leaders have stood up and said this is absurd. We can't accept this. Well, you'll have to ask the administration that question, but I'll tell you who I offer condolences to. I offer condolences to the people of Iran who've been terrorized and subjugated by these theocratic thugs for half a century. I mean, they've killed them on the sidewalks. They don't let them raise their voice. They promote terrorism around the world, but they also do horrible things to their own people. So I offer my condolences to the Iranian people, and I hope they get rid of this tyranny as soon as they can. I think that that's been my position all along, and I think that's the right position.